you out there in YouTube land, this is Translato10 and I am back with another Batman review. From 1997, the tail end of the line, we bring you another Batman and Robin 2-pack. But what 2-pack is it, you might say? Well, I'm not going to go over the card because, the card is blank. It does have this little Batman Robin logo, nice little black card with a little red light that spotlights the figures. But I'm not going to go too much in detail about it because it's just a bland card, so we move that aside. But what 2-pack is it? Is it the Guardians of Gotham City? No, I already did that one. Is it the Guardians of Gotham City with that weird green paint job? No, I already don't want it, don't care, no. Is it the Batman versus Bane? What was it? Brain versus Brawn? No. What about the Robin and Poison Ivy one? No. This one is A Cold Night in Gotham City. Batman versus Mr. Freeze. This is the 2-pack that rounded off the really expensive, really weird 2-packs and was released either in the tail end of the 1997 line, or it was released with all the other 2-packs but was short-packed and it was just unlikely to find because it had a really cool Mr. Freeze variant. Whatever it is, it took me a really long time to find this, and I had no idea it existed until I signed up on the Yesterday, Today, and Beyond Batman boards way back in the early 2000s. And from then, I made it a point to find this figure. And after about 7 years of searching, I finally scored one on Amazon by just chance. I was buying like a Batman Blu-ray DVD set, and it just happened to be for those who are interested in would also buy this. And I saw it for $24.99. Thought it was a really cool buy, and cool deal, if not maybe a little expensive, but since I'd never seen it before, and it wasn't like an outrageous price like $200, I figured I'd snag on it. So it is some very nice artwork with Clooney and Mr. Freeze. Freeze blasting Batman and Batman getting, well, frozen. It's really nice little artwork. It shows the ongoing battle between good and evil. Or in this case, not so evil, but just more or less pissed off at the world. But enough about that. I've already wasted 2 minutes on that. Let's get to the figures. This is Batman, and he is all basically decked out. So let's just take these pieces off. And look at Batman in the flesh. This is one of those really interesting figures that I have no idea what the heck these guys were smoking when they came up with this paint job. It's white with black and yellow. 3 colors that should never go together. And yet, here they are in spectacular fashion. I gotta say, I do like the sculpt and I do love the paint applications. I mean, they did choose yellow for the Bat logos, which is very common. I love the little design of this little armor piece here and this little armor piece here. And I always love the gloves with the batarangs on the gauntlets. That's just awesome. And we have even more for the wrists. And then we have some really weird design choices. This is supposed to be a utility belt, yet it only has like those little 4 capsules, and if you turn it around, you notice he's got a pocket. That's very interesting, considering that the movie suits never had pockets. And even something more interesting, this little design here is actually a wraparound Bat logo, but the Bat logo is in the back. I'd say get rid of this monstrosity and put this here, but that's just me. It's got a very nice Clooney likeness though, so I can't really rag on the figure too much. He does have a really nice little charcoal cape. It's got little flecks in it that look really cool. And they just pop on the figure like so. 2-peg system, so of course you can't use them with the hover attack Batman. Darn. And he's got this really cool armor piece. And when you put it on, and I'm really scared every time I put this on because it's very stiff plastic, and I feel that every time I snap this on, it's just going to crack right up the middle. Really do feel that plastic's going to go brittle over time. And now he just looks freaking ridiculous. Now he's got this all-white body with little yellow accents, a black cape and cowl, and now this little chromed out vacuumized plastic, this vacuumized metal plastic. This is crazy. But somehow I'm still enamored by it. It's not the worst Batman variant I've ever seen, but it's definitely not the best. But I can't help but be stricken by its overall appearance. And then, of course, he does come with these little freeze pieces. And the freeze pieces are translucent, little teal, little baby blue, and they snap on just as easily. This one goes on his hand, and then this one goes on his thigh. And that's it. That's really all I can say about this figure. It does have the standard 5 points. His leg just goes up and down, and his arms can go 360, but with the cape it's hindered. Same thing goes with the head. But I don't know why you wouldn't twist his head 360, because that would snap his neck and kill him. And now we have Mr. Freeze. And Mr. Freeze, this is the reason why you wanted this set. We had a real chromed out Mr. Freeze and a much more movie accurate version, if I do say so myself. Because Mr. Freeze's armor was kind of shiny, and I was a little disappointed with the previous Mr. Freeze that we got in the line, the basic Mr. Freeze. And even though it had a really cool fiery missile that he couldn't hold up to save his life because the figure was so top heavy, it was a bland paint job. And when I mean bland paint job, I mean he had no paint job. He had like the little periwinkle face and the periwinkle little power cells. They all lit up in a, well, not lit up, but they were painted in that really disgusting periwinkle blue. And I did not like that at all. Because periwinkle, his suit should be brighter. It's supposed to show power. And the periwinkle was more like when he was, running low on power. He was dying, basically. He was like a dying Mr. Freeze. So this one just puts more life into that really awesome sculpt that I really did enjoy. I do love the little ridges, all the little sculpt lines. I love all of this stuff that we see on this figure. It is just freaking magnificent, and it's all amplified like 10,000 times with this really cool vacuum metallized paint. The chrome paint. This is just freaking awesome. It is the same Mr. Freeze figure, so of course he does have the articulation problems. But being that the suit is heavy, one could say that he couldn't really want to hold his arm over his head anyway because of the sheer weight of it. So I really don't have a problem with it. But, for those of you who are sticklers for articulation, he cannot move his shoulders. He cannot move his arms above this point because of the shoulder armor. And he can't do the same with his legs because of the skirt. But like I said, why would you want to? Because you would just end up breaking the dude's legs if he was a real person. And his head, of course, you can't go the traditional 360 because the collar's in the way. Then again, that's one of those things that's like, well, why would you? So once again, the articulation is not hurt by this. And I absolutely do love his the way he's sculpted in the pose. It's kind of like a stance where if you were holding a big, gigantic gun, you would need to brace yourself in order to hold it up. So, once again, I don't have a problem with his sculpt. I had a problem with the original figure because of the lack of paint and the color chosen for that paint just make this figure just so lackluster. Here, everything is vibrant. It's bright. And for Joel Schumacher's Mr. Freeze, that's how you would have wanted it to be. You wanted your Mr. Freeze to look like this. And here we have his gun. This is the only accessory that he has, and it is it's like 90% movie accurate. It's such a shame it doesn't fire a missile, and it would have been really cool if maybe we had like a little plug-in freeze piece, but for what it is, this is a very nice little gun. Probably needs to be a little wider, but other than that, it is very nice. And it probably does clash that it's not chromed out, or at least in a more shinier plastic paint. But you probably can't see it through the video, but it does have these little flecks of like silver in the plastic. So at least they tried something. But all in all, this is just a very fantastic display piece. And, well, you know, looking at Batman some more, I am really stricken by it. I don't know if I've already said this because I've done this video 3 times already, but it is a very interesting piece. It's not the worst Batman variant, it's not the best, but it's not one that I can just call off just because he's got that weird color thing. And he's smaller than Mr. Freeze. So that makes a really nice presentation on your shelf. This guy is just dominating this figure right here, just in size alone. And I absolutely love it. For those of you who can find it, I would definitely recommend picking it up, if only just for the Mr. Freeze figure, because it is just that wonderful of an update to what I thought was a bland figure. I don't know how much they go for these days, but your best bet is Amazon third-party sellers or eBay. Maybe you get lucky at a yard sale or one of those third-party retail outlets. But other than that, for those of you who would want it, you're probably going to expect to pay big bucks for it, because I've not really seen these things come up for sale that often. And usually when they do, they are kind of expensive. So beware of that. This is Transato10, and I am signing off.